X marks the spot. Welcome to Wallride X, Wallride exclusives, the Wallride experience. My name is Dez, aka Flippin' Boards. I buy, sell, trade, and collect rare skateboard decks. Yes, that's a real thing, folks. This guy right here, 30 years in the game, Mr. Sugar, Mr. Unified. He makes skateboard decks, pro for 30 years. He's the best kept secret in the game, but the secret's out, Marco, aka Sharko, Jazz Binsec. What up, man?
What up? What up? So in the 90s was a tectonic shift in skateboarding. Basically, vert went out of business and intercity street skaters became the rock stars. And tonight's story is one of the most inspirational stories of the 90s. Fabian Alomar, welcome to the show. Yeah, how are you?
Yes, how you doing, dog?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing. I grew up in East LA, so like I watched your Epically Latered and learning about Menace and all that. Right by Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, so I was like a little kid. So today's episode is special because like basically you guys still are living legends, and like hearing those stories as a kid, just like, oh, this happened here and this happened here, and then now to be in this position where we're like the source and your story is an inspirational story.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So
Still
let's
being
go.
written.
Yes.
Still being written. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I think we skated in a time where like it was special, right? It was kind of like a special era, I think.
Yeah.
The 80s into the 90s.
Right.
You know, I didn't catch too many of the 2000s because I got incarcerated, but my skating years were like fun. They were like the best years probably.
Yeah, the shapes of decks changed. In the 80s was like big
I went through
decks,
the-
like
yeah.
cool shaped decks, and
Yeah.
then like the 90s was the popsicle shapes.
And then there was like
And
the
it was the
wavy
transition.
tail,
Yeah.
the Alva boards.
Yeah.
And we had like, I remember I had an Otis with the Black Panther on it.
Sick.
The SMA board.
Yep.
And that board was like, it had like the perfect nose. That's when the noses started coming in. And then when Mark Gonzalez's had like, when he had the flower board, that had like the perfect nose and tail. And you could ride the Vallely board back in the day, remember? And it was like the same nose and tail was the
Oh,
same.
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah,
the old
yeah,
Powell board
yeah.
with Vallely?
Twin tail.
Yeah, it was
over-
twin. Like you couldn't tell. Just your trucks. You knew that your trucks were like a little looser in the front or maybe in the back. I don't know how you ride, but you know.
So saying that, what companies did you ride for? What was your first sponsor?
First sponsor was Z. I was a Z boy.
Z-Boy.
Yeah, Z Rollers.
Z
And,
Roller.
I got on through a guy named George Wilson. George Wilson was a guy who got me on. Like, used to take a chance to come to my neighborhood. And
Was that like
You know.
late 80s?
yeah, we're
Early
talking like
90s?
early 90s. Yeah, in the early 90s.
Early 90s?
Right after the 89, like right early 90. It was like 90 and then 91. And like he would come to my house and, you know, meet me. Well, he wouldn't come to my house. He would meet me down the corner on the busy street, you know, because we didn't have phones back then. And he drove through my house a couple times. And I guess like the fellas around there thought he was a cop because he's a white dude in a car driving around. So they all like looked at him and he just said, like, I went out looking for him, but he wasn't around, you know? So now we start meeting at the Vons. And like, yeah, it became like, we meet on 3rd in Vermont. And I live down on Kenmore.
Okay. So like
Third and
Echo,
Kenmore.
essentially Echo Park?
No, that's what you call like on the, by Shadow Park.
Shadow Park.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
Shadow
Gotcha.
Park.
I grew up in like, they call it Frogtown.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
on the other side of Echo Park.
Yeah, it's the other side.
Yeah, Fletcher.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Riverside,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I used to skate around there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after Z-Roller, what was your next sponsor?
Well, before we do that,
Okay.
I gotta introduce you to this right here, man. This is my product, you know, young entrepreneur, flipping boards. And what we do is on Wallride X, we have our guests open these packs. These are surprise decks, something I created. And yeah, believe it or not, man, skateboard deck collecting is a thing. I want to give people an opportunity to like not know what they're gonna get. Trip out on that, right? It's like, I don't know what I got. You gotta open it. So yeah, open this up, and right here on top, it has a little. Yep.
First rated section.
Boom.
So what do
What
we
you
got?
Oh shit. Oh damn.
Oh, banana board.
A Z Flex board. That's dope. No, this is badass. This is cool to cruise in.
Yeah, it's a cruiser board.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's
Cool
what they
board.
skated, I guess, in like the 70s or something.
Because you mentioned you Z rollers.
Yeah, I had the Z Roller trucks and the
Word.
Z Flex. It was a Z board. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a Z board.
The
This is
Z roller trucks, they were like rotating, right?
They would
Was that,
spin.
like,
Yeah, you could just spin them like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting on the curb was like icy.
Yeah, it was
On
just
rails,
grinding
it was
forever.
like just butter. You know what I mean? You're just getting on and like off. You got to be
Yeah,
careful.
it was spinning. The truck was
Yeah,
spinning.
I had to get used
So
to
there
it.
was no grind. It was just there was like
I
a thing
seen
on
that. I
it.
looked
Yeah.
it up.
I used to get made fun of, like, you know, by our
Right,
friends,
right.
by our peers, like Joey and Billy and everybody. Like, you know, we had friends that would be like, "Oh, you're rolling," and like you're not
Yeah.
even grinding, you're rolling. But it was like I could grind anything pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it felt like differently, and then when you switch to like regular trucks.
So when you go to regular trucks,
Yeah.
when you go to regular trucks, man, it's like, yeah, you got to get back. You got to
Right.
get that feeling back. Plus, they're a little heavy.
Right.
They're a little bit heavy. So,
They look heavy.
So back then, the tricks of that time and era was like grabs, and it was like wall rides and
Lawn tramps?
I don't know about lawn tramps so much, but it was like disaster, 50-50, 180 out. Like for me, it was like, you know, a lot of like ollie grabs, you know,
Right.
like I was still going grabs down like double sets, you know, like backside 180 new
Sick.
grab or something, you know, backside 180 backside grab. And I remember that's how I got on it. And the one trick that I did and I wish I could still do is the tray flip. You know when you catch a tray flip to pivot and come back in, like 360 flip, catch on the back wheel and then re-enter. I did that so clean on the Z video.
What?
Yeah,
Sick.
way back in the Z video, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I look at it now, I'm like, man, that's still a cool trick to do
Yeah.
today.
Is that footage out there somewhere?
Yeah, it's on a Z video called Devastation,
Okay.
right after Ricky Oyola.
Okay, cool.
Word.
Yeah, that's how I met Ricky Oyola back in the day. Came
Yeah.
to, like, he was on Z, and I was like, damn, he's from Philly. You know, it was like starting to meet the other side. Like, you know, we had friends like all of from where we grew up,
Yeah.
but starting to meet skaters that came down, like Richie Rojas came down to. Richie Rojas was dope. He's from the East Coast skater, and he came down to skate at night. Beneficial, which is Jaquan. now.
Jake one. Yep.
Yeah, I call it beneficial.
That's the
That's the OG term
The
for
OG
it.
name.
Beneficial. Yeah,
Beneficial.
and it's beneficial for me. So either way, like, you know what I'm saying. He came down to skate it, man, late night, and we followed him. Like, we were just looking. He was just busting, like just back and like lip slide back, frontside board slide at night. Didn't even know the spot. Just came to bust, and then he met him, took off. You know, Jesus saw two kids watching him skate, and it was me and my boy Juan. My boy Juan was like he was like probably better than me and Joey. You know, so Juan is like Juan Harrell. You know, he was the best skateboarder in the area.
Wow.
And like coming up, then he got, you know, he was on his way to get sponsored. He'd done a bunch of stuff for Paul Peralta, and he was going to get on when all that Bandis gave opening to them to do that. You know, the Bandis guys like Paulo and Rudy and Guy
and Guy.
and Gabriel. Yeah, they all like made that happen for us in a sense. Like opened up that kind of door for us. You know, like, and I guess they were like the first inspiration, like true to hit from the turf. You know what I mean? From
Yeah.
where we at. So
That's what's up, though.
yeah,
And like growing up Latino, I'm actually half Mexican too. So
I kind of figured.
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
a little
kinda figured
something.
it, Yeah,
They
he
think
looked
I'm
like Dominican. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. When I used to play ball in
Puerto Rican.
Mexico, so they always thought I was like
Puerto Rican.
Cuban, and yeah, ask me taxis
Yeah.
and all that. But just like growing up skating,
Yeah.
you know, were some of your homies like? How did everyone gravitate towards it? Were they like tripping out on you?
Yeah,
were they like,
because
oh, no,
like,
it's
of
cool?
course,
Like,
no, they were like, you know, I had my skater friends and I had my friends at home, you know, like in the neighborhood where we lived, and then those were like kind of always separated because I never in my block there was no skateboarding going on.
Right.
You know, we lived in a pretty bad neighborhood, and like, so the skating would happen somewhere else. I would get my board, say what's up, oh, like, you know, and then take off, you know,
Yeah.
and then go and do my thing, and then come back and have to like be careful how to come back into the neighborhood.
Wow.
Because, you know, they can mistake you, or like they look at you and you could just see like they'll be like, you know, making certain noises and like, you know what I mean?
right.
That you could they'll be like someone's coming, and you hear like a whistle, like, you know.
Yeah.
Man, it's something like that. So they would. I used to get escorted back into my own house by certain people.
Wow.
Like, who are you? Oh, all right, let me bring you home. You know, like because
Right.
they knew who my dad was or whatever. you know?
Got it.
Yeah.
We got
All right,
another one.
so
We
next
got another
board?
one. Yeah, let's do another
Yeah.
one.
So what do we got next?
I don't even know anymore. We like mixed them all up, but
We mix them up. Okay.
It really is a surprise at this point.
Okay. So wait, let's
Yeah.
see. Wait. Okay. So I wrote for ATM. After that, ATM.
Shout out to
click.
John Falahy,
John,
ATM.
Yeah, John Falahy was
Yeah.
the man, bro.
OG.
ATM click.
Yeah, ATM Click.
Yeah.
Then
Acid Wheels.
6040. That became 6040.
6040 was a different company?
No. ATM became 60/40, bro.
Because
Like,
60/40 was.
and ATM was gone after that, I believe, or like they either started.
Metaver or some guy, Rick Metaver, I think.
Yeah,
From up north.
yeah, but
And Gons.
yeah, but you see, Chapman and Gons and all of us, including me and Joey and Lee Smith and Stephen Callis, we all left at the same time. We defected all that because we were all sticking together. You know, we've been together since the beginning. So the only one that wasn't on there was Billy, because I think Billy was on Real at the time. He was on Real Skateboards, so he didn't get on, but he got on later. He got on after, you know, once he made that transformation. But so this could be anything.
It could be. Let's
right.
find out.
Let's see what it is.
I love
What
presents.
it actually says. Let's see what you got right here on this side.
Wait, this side?
Yep. It has a little. It's a hollow presents.
Oh, it's at the top, homie. Wait,
You got the little, yeah, right there, bam.
Oh, that's it.
That,
Right
yup.
So after Z-Roller, you went to ATM Click.
After Z, yeah.
Show
After
them what
Z,
you pull out. Show them what you
After
pull
Z,
out.
I felt like I went on to extra large, because they were like at the same time, extra large company.
Extra Large was apparel.
Yeah,
They made-
yeah.
they made
No, they didn't make boards, but
Apparel.
they were like bigger. They were a big sponsor for me too.
What you get?
So
60/40 Ron Chapman.
Dude.
Show the
this is
camera
old
that.
school. Is this the actual shape?
This is it, man.
This is the board and shape.
1995 board. Yeah.
I think it is. Let me
Shape,
see
yeah.
real
It's
quick.
and it has a slick top too.
Oh, yeah. Because
That's
it's
crazy.
it's
I was hoping
skinny,
you were gonna
right?
pull
That's
that.
what's skinny back
Super
then.
skinny, yeah.
Small boards.
Crazy.
Little wheels.
What is that, like 7?
Shout out to Chatty.
7.5.
Yeah. Ron
It's like a
Chapman, shout out. Legend.
7.5.
That's it.
Slick? Wow.
Running Cat. I don't know who did the art on that one.
Probably Gons. No, maybe him.
Maybe
I don't know.
Ron.
Maybe Ron.
But yeah, 60/40 right there.
They called them Rons. No,
Rons.
I'm joking.
Yeah, South Bay Skates was doing like a going out of business or whatever, and they had all these old boards.
Sick.
I
Let me
managed
see
to
the
pick
shit.
that
You
up.
got
That's
it?
a real
Okay.
95. That's like my only 60/40 board.
Wow.
But to find it in this condition,
It's
like,
very rare. This is
rare,
the best,
right?
best
And
one.
it has that slick top.
Yeah.
For me, like as a collector, I get
the
all
shape,
sorts
though,
of-
dude. There was no concave at all. What the fuck are we thinking?
Yeah. It's
Like,
flat.
how are we doing anything?
Right.
It was flat.
Believe you guys.
How do we do any
You
tricks?
believe.
Well, we were doing pressure flips off flatwood,
It was easier to flip, right? Small boards easier to flip.
But without
Yeah.
the concave?
but with no concave, no
It-
hell
like,
concave.
the
Like,
flat boards are
Need that hell concave.
are good for manuals. I think flat
I know,
boards
yeah.
it's easier for manuals.
No,
Because if you
actually,
have a
dude,
big
we've
Yeah?
skated those boards so
Because
good.
if you
like-
have the crazy concave deck, it's kind of hard
I
to
rem-
control it.
I remember. I don't like too much concave on my board, but I like a little bit more than this.
More than this?
Yeah, a little bit wider than that nowadays. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, nowadays, shit. You gotta
This
be
is-
safe.
But
Nowadays,
this
this is
Ain't
a
no
collect-
flippity
rare
going
board,
on right
Right.
now.
It's a
Not too much.
collectors now.
And this slick bottom, yeah, it's very hard to make,
Really?
and it adds weight to it.
Bring them back.
Adds
man.
weight to the
I
board.
love slick.
Yeah, it's
man.
hard to make. It's pressed when they press the veneers. They put that in the mold.
Why would they do that though back then? I mean, this is pre-heat
Just
transfer,
when you
right?
do like curb skating, then that doesn't damage.
Well, what
the
was the
graphics.
for this era board? What was the
plastic.
tricks going down? Then what were they for you?
The tricks
Yeah,
was like ledge skating, early ledge
Oh.
skating,
ledges.
ledges, I think.
Yeah.
Right curbs,
Yeah,
board slides.
Yeah,
right
because this
king
was
grinds.
made off of necessity, right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, we need something that's gonna hold up.
It's gonna
or-
slide, you know.
And all the slick boards that I see, they're still,
But the
for the most
problem
part,
was the
intact.
weight.
But
They're
it's
too
heavy.
They're heavy.
It's a trade-off.
So it lasted for like what, a year or two, slick.
I didn't
And
like them.
They stopped doing it.
Right.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
did the slick.
And it's a different pop. You pop
Yeah.
on a plastic, not on the wood.
Right.
So it feels different.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
bonite.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
yup.
It's like that bonite.
Yeah,
shit.
that was like 1 year
It's
only.
not. It's not wood.
I read
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it
It
feels
lasted
weird.
a year because they were like the bone
I
night,
like maple
so
wood, or
heavy.
like wood
Yeah.
that that world and
Well-
and girl wood and chocolate wood is good too. I used to skate the shit out of those boards.
That's all hard rock maple.
Yeah.
Just different glues.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody uses the same wood.
Yeah.
Next one.
Oh, yeah,
Alright.
this is fun.
Yep.
But now you got the hang of it, right? We did the little
Keep them
feel that
coming.
ASMR. Boom.
Can I
I
take
don't
them
know.
home?
We'll let you. We're gonna send you off with something for show. What's this
Yeah.
one?
Oh wow. Kareem. Damn, this is signed by him? How'd you get it
It's not-
signed?
Oh, you want to know?
Show the camera.
What?
Yeah.
On my
Give
birthday,
me-
was it last year? On my birthday, he was doing an event in like
San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo, and I heard he was there. And I was like, bro, I gotta go out there. I want to meet him and get him to sign my boards for my collection. So we drove out there, and my wife, boom, 4 hours, whatever, waited, and then boom, yeah, he pulled up in the spot, him and Mike Crum, and we chopped
Where
it
was
up.
this at again?
So it's in San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
Yeah. Stacey Peralta,
It was
Peralta
some
was
kind
doing
of
an
a
event.
documentary showing.
Right.
Stacey Peralta was there.
And so I tripped
like
them
a
all
year-
out
a year
though.
or two ago?
Yeah, I tripped them all out because they're like, "What? How do you have these?" And I was like, "Hey, this is what I
This
do."
is actually a skated board that he did, like he was skating in, huh?
Right. This I don't know if he specifically skated this one,
But he pulled it out of his truck.
but no. I brought it.
you
I
brought
wish. I wish. Yeah, but he blessed me with other stuff like behind you. There's a lot of city stars.
Who did all this? You?
No. It's crazy, huh? I found it used and I
Oh, you
collected
found
it
it,
still.
okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I bought it to him and then he signed it in gold.
I wonder
But-
if he even has this still. Kareem, you got this board, fool?
Let's ask him.
Or is it at Dave White's?
Dave, why?
Cool.
What? Yeah, so let me see that, Marco, before
yeah.
you pass it. So again, so we were just talking about the slick.
Yeah.
So these boards, you see how it's like all cracked now because they're old, but this was screened.
Screen.
Screened, man. Bring it back, Marco. This is the one. They
Yeah.
still do it. Some people still do it.
Yeah.
Strange love.
That was a good board, bro.
Because what we do now in the back is heat transfer printing.
Right.
So the plastic is silk screen and it gets transferred onto the board. Back in the day,
Didn't
one
exist
color
yet,
silk screen.
yeah.
It's the
So they
real
would
deal.
the
Yeah, it was a
black,
lot of-
the
it's a
blue,
lot
the
of
gold,
work.
the
Yeah.
orange.
So now it's
Now it's
way easier.
Way easier, yeah. Way easier, way faster.
Yeah. Produce
Yeah.
more.
World Industries. So that's what year was that?
I think this is
Early-
Like 93, 4?
Nah, I think it's later. Probably 96, 97.
Yeah?
Yeah, later. I want an earlier one, but these things go for,
Yeah, I'm sure.
they're pricey now.
I'm sure.
They're pricey.
Art, Mark McKee, Cliver.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to lie. I don't want to get it wrong, so drop a
Sean
comment.
Flavor?
below.
Both of them are dope.
Both of them are
Both
down.
of them
It's
were
either one of
skilled
them.
up. Like, they used to kill it.
Yep. Probably Mark. I think Mark McKee. But yeah, sick.
I hung out with JT, John Thomas.
JT, yeah. He
You know,
didn't.
JT.
Menace.
John
Menace,
Thomas, the OG JT. John Thomas, yeah, from
Menace-
Alva, when he worked at World.
Menace Graphics, right?
Yes. And he was
Wow.
like we went to Hawaii with him, bro.
Right.
It's crazy story. It's,
We were trying to
can't
get-
say it
we
on
were
this
trying to
show.
get a
It's-
hold of
the
him.
show wouldn't- they'll ban us if we talk about that.
Yeah, we're trying to get a hold of him.
Non-skateboard related.
We're doing one more. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Until, and then we'll save the last one for the end. Here you go. I think. Yeah, right here.
All right, I got it. All right.
He's figured it out. Hey,
Hey, I got it.
He's
I like
figured
doing
it
my own
out.
presents, fool. Don't open up my present, fool.
He figured it out.
Oh shit! Damn, this is old school
Crazy,
shit
yeah.
right here.
Show the cam.
Dude, this is
Trip
badass.
out.
This is Gabriel's favorite
Gabriel
right here.
Rodriguez.
Trip out.
This
Rest
is
in
so
peace.
badass,
Rest in
man.
peace, man.
Yeah,
Rest in peace. Yeah, you and Gabriel were good homies.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I grew up with Gabe, man. He used to, before I even like got sponsored, Gabe was giving me like shoes and boards, you know, just like to skate, you know. Yeah.
Yes, 1996 chocolate with the Jimi Hendrix, and man, these are all from my personal collection, but this one for sure. This
No,
was
this
actually a
one's bad,
sample,
bro.
sample from
Oh, sample
Chicken
that?
did this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, Chicken.
yeah,
Yes.
the sample.
Hand
It doesn't
silk
say
screen
chocolate
in
on the back.
Huntington.
Yeah.
It's a silk screen shop.
Chicken, I remember. That was Lucero Schmitz. I'd skated.
Lucero
Wait,
probably
Chicken.
Chicken is the guy that silk screen boards,
Chicken is the guy that had a pool in his backyard.
and he has a pool in the back.
In Orange
That's
County.
right. Yep.
I skated.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
he has like one of his rooms had all kinds of like World War II Nazi memorabilia.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was
Gnarly.
like, fuck.
Hey, you collect stuff. Collectors
People collect, you
Collectors
know. And he
collect.
told me, and I asked
Right.
him like, "Hey, what's up with this, dog?" He's like, "Oh, I just like collecting it. You know, my father was in
Right.
the war or some shit. I don't know what he told me. Maybe I'm lying, but I know I seen it. And he told me something. I was just like, okay. Can we leave now? I'm just no, I didn't.
Nah.
Just skated the pool. We skated the pool. It was dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chicken,
Shout
bro.
out to
Let me go
Chicken,
skate your
yes,
pool
sir.
again, fool.
So yeah, you skate with Gabriel a lot.
That was my
Right.
boy, man.
Yeah.
Schoolyards.
Yeah, Lockwood. We started
Lockwood.
skating like at first we started skating Wilshire together. Like we skated like Beneficial. I remember him skating like the contest at Venice, and he got first place when he did a 360 and caught his own hat. He did a backside 360, and he caught his hat.
Cool.
And then he landed, and his hat in midair, and then he landed and he caught it. and he continued skating. He put it back on, and everybody was like, ah.
Yeah.
He won the whole
Yeah.
contest, bro. Like it just
Sick.
just like on points because of skateboarding, but also just like style. Bro.
Right.
Sick.
Right.
Such a
Made
sick
it
style.
look so easy. Like he made it look like skateboarding. You know, just like good shit.
Were you at the courthouse when there was like 100 skaters at the courthouse? And one time, like, gangsters came, and Gabriel Rodriguez grabbed, like, indie trucks, put them like that, and he was going to fight the gangsters for, like, all the skaters. I don't know if you were there, but he grabbed the trucks, and he walked up to the skaters, to the gangsters, and he was going to, like, protect all the skaters.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
he was, like a tough dude.
Yeah.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Like this, indie trucks,
Oh yeah, I believe
like
that.
that.
I believe that.
and he walked through the dudes.
He's always whenever we had
Like
a
he was
conflict,
gonna-
bro. It was
yeah.
like, yeah.
He was-
He was always down.
No one's
Yeah.
gonna fight by themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, he's like, he gets a little turned up. He would get turned up. Gabe would be like, he'd be the one. Like you got to watch out for.
So you were more chill than him?
No, I mean I was probably not more chill than him, but I was in my own little world doing different things.
Word.
But Gabe is like a creeper, like it's like
Yeah,
silent,
watching.
and then he'll
Yeah.
come, he's watching you like,
Yeah.
yeah. Gabe was dope. He was funny, man.
So the schoolyard skating, right? Like Lockwood and all that. Was your generation the first generation that started skating schoolyards, like picnic tables? Because today's date, everybody's still skating schoolyards and picnic tables.
Yeah.
So the way I saw, like your generation cemented that type of skating.
I don't know. Yeah.
I
Well,
was like-
I think like for some, maybe for like having it in a lot of video parts, or like always being at that school.
Mini
that
picnic tables.
Yeah, because like I remember Sheffy and Sean Sheffy and Matt Hensley, they did a lot of stuff on the picnic table in the 8th Street video. A lot
Yeah,
of
that's right.
guys did. A lot of other skaters did
Fakey
too.
Ollie Sean Sheffy.
Yeah, a lot of other
Table.
skaters did too. But I think I don't know. It probably had to do with something about like that school and just where we were from, and like
It felt different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you guys were like schoolyards, mini tables,
yeah,
and just
we hung out there.
Like
that was
Popecki-
a hangout.
yeah.
Lockwood was a hangout. Like E&B was a hangout, and
Yeah.
people would just go and just skate and then sit down, skate for like 2 minutes, and then sit down and eat and drink and just watch. A lot of people used to go and just hang out. You know what I mean? And then the homies will come and hang out and watch too, and they'll be in the back, watching like, That's why a lot of people didn't go because, like, at first it was kind of tension.
It was kind of sketchy.
It was
right?
sketchy. If you would have gone, they would have got
It
you.
was sketchy. Yeah. Yeah.
They'll be like, "Ooh, money,"
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you too with that shirt. Yeah, I've been over. No, I'm joking. Nah. No, but
Then I
really
would
though,
have speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
then
hey,
it
look,
was-
yeah,
yeah.
you just start spitting. Yeah, you
I
gotta-
skated was in a sketchy neighborhood.
No, for
It
sure,
was
Marco would have been done.
Yeah.
But look, for real though, like,
It was yeah.
remember Chuck Wampler?
Dude, he got shot.
Okay, so Chuck Wampler, for the record, man, like,
Oh.
I don't even know what happened, but I know this much, that if I had been there, that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have happened.
No.
For sure. It wouldn't have, like, I would have I would have talked to those fools and like told him to chill.
He would saved it.
Yeah, because people react differently. Everybody reacts differently, and I get it, man. You want to protect your own stuff. You don't want to get taken for it. But me and Jody Morris and Joey Suriel were like maybe 10 minutes behind that. So I saw it when it was already happening, and there was already like a little scene there. And we just passed by. I said, "Shit, cops there. Let's keep going." But I saw what happened. I'm like, "Damn, what happened? Somebody got hurt. Why are the cops and an ambulance and all that shit here?" Like we left. We wanted to go. I was like, "Keep going." But later finding out that that was unnecessary. I would have gave up the camera first and foremost.
For sure. Yeah.
We'll always get a camera. We'll all pitch in,
Right.
But like, either way, man, it shouldn't have happened. But Lockwood was bad like that. I got beat up at Lockwood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By this fool named Big D or Mr. D or Big D. Oh, Big D from some gang, right? Like
Not a
that was
skater.
close by. Yeah, it's a black dude. Came out of jail. Was like, "No, Lockwood, you gonna come over here and skate in my school?" And I was like, "What?" Like what? He just zeroed in on me too because I said something, or maybe because I said something. I was a badass little. I didn't give a shit. And I was like, I used to carry a little pick on me, but this fool's a grown man.
How old were you at this?
Man, probably like 16, 17.
Okay.
And he was like probably like 35, just got out of jail. He had gray hair coming out his nose. Like he'd been to jail, you know what I mean? Tattoos and shit. So dude was an OG, of course, but he didn't, he didn't have to do it like that. So when I went home, he bombed on me because I was just saying, man, ain't no problem skating here. We can skate here. And then so he bombed on me, and then, made and nobody jumped in first and foremost. And then, things like that happen, man. So I go home, and I let my family know. My mom questioned me, and I'm like, nah, it's nothing. But what happened? So she told my uncle, and my uncle went down there.
Wow.
My uncle settled it. My uncle, rest in peace, Shark. And so he ended up. My dad and him went over there, and I guess they talked to dudes. And then it was good. He'll pass by and not say nothing no more. But even the little homies that were there, not just they were Hispanic. They were tripping on us at first because no one skated Lockwood. The first ones I seen skating Lockwood was Billy and Paulo Diaz. Billy Valdez, Paulo Diaz skating Lockwood. I remember going with them and then not going with them. And then just not seeing gangsters and then seeing gangsters. And that was always a risk. So, but we never stopped skating it.
Right.
Even though we never stopped skating it. We would still get into beef and I'm like, man, look, I'm tired of, when you get tired and fed up of getting chased out of some place, like you're going to go prepared now.
Right.
So we go prepared, if you know what I mean. And we were ready to fight them. Like, we're going to go skate regardless.
So did Lockwood turn into kind of like
Lockwood
a proving ground?
Lockwood became like one of the places where like people from Pasadena and all these places. Remember that group, The Firm?
Yeah.
They would go there and like, so kids were always coming around. And
like
the gangs.
like-
Look, the
Like
Firm.
Javier Sarmiento.
Look, the Firm.
Lance Mountain.
We're talking Lance Mountain and
Mountain.
the two brothers, the Grubbers, the Grubers.
Yep.
Oh,
Two
okay.
brothers.
Remember we call them the Joe Gruber and Joe Grubber. What I'm saying it right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So they and they don't even know this, but like there was fools plotting on them, and we're like, nah, dude, chill, they're with us. I don't want to get their camera. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get them. Like, nah, chill, fool, they're with us.
Especially Lance is
Yeah.
there? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lance wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't.
No.
It was just them
It was
coming through.
yeah.
But
His
you
team.
knew.
Yeah, his team.
But
yeah.
you knew through
Yeah.
the grapevine. So
Oh,
you were
dude,
like,
you're skating
all right.
and you look like Tony Hawk, bro. Like you don't fit in. Like you got the. You're hanging out at Lockwood with your. You know what I'm saying? You're like, bruh. It's fucking hot. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
dude, you stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
You can't.
For
You're
real.
gonna be a victim. So. Yeah, we would just be like, nah, they're with us. Even if I didn't know them, they're with us.
Right.
Yeah, don't mess with them.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool. We were all, us, Joey, Billy,
cool, yeah.
all of us, we would all be like, nah, those dudes are,
That's cool though. Like,
That's cool, yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because it's
Checking
a
all the
spot
skaters.
that you pull up to, and that could be your day.
Yeah.
Stuff could happen.
Fools are risking it though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
to get there and just to skate.
Yep.
Really, just to skate, right? And do your thing because there's so many other spots. I mean, obviously Lockwood is the.
Oh,
spot,
wait.
But like,
The first person to skate there was Julio de la Cruz.
Julio?
Remember he said that?
Oh.
That's bull. No, I'm just teasing Julio. You know, your ass never came there before us. I know that.
he got one of his
I
boys
love
on
you,
the wall
Julio.
somewhere.
Yeah.
One of his boys is on the wall. Shout out
Julio
to
de la Cruz?
Yeah, somewhere.
So
New deal.
after 60-40, Menace, how to get started?
60-40 into Menace. Man, look. Mark Gonzalez,
Can I say something?
what?
What I heard the story is that Kareem and Rocco, they both pitched in 5K. I think Kareem told me that. I'm not sure if this is the truth or not, but like they both pitched in 5K. But the deal was that Kareem was going to stay with World and that Kareem was going to manage Menace. I don't know if that's really how
So,
it went down or not. But
I don't know
that's-
about the numbers,
Yeah.
but Kareem was on fire. Remember, he won
Right.
Tampa, he won Vancouver, and he was on fire doing backside 180s over the whole contest and shit. So
Quarter to flat.
Yeah. Over the audience, over the parking lot, over the street.
Over the fence.
Yeah. And back to LA. So he was on fire and his name was hot. And so I'm sure he was going to start a company because look at these guys all dispersed. Rick and Mike went to World and they started Girl and Chocolate and all that stuff. So it was only like an opening spot for us. I was on the team and I was over there and Extra Large was taking care of us. We were in New York. And I remember us being like in New York for a long time. Like I was out
Who
there
were you with?
couch touring everywhere. I was with Stephen Callis, and I lived with Rick Rivera, and I was going back and forth, just staying, you know, some nights we wouldn't even stay there. We'd stay in some randos. You know what I'm saying? We just that's how we were living. So that was during the time of they were filming Kids.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
around that time when they were doing the movie Kids, and like we were there, and that's when we were already on Menace. But before that, we were in New York as ATM 60/40, 60/40, right. And like I remember getting a clip on the Brooklyn Banks. I did a nollie backside flip, like kind of like drifting into like whatever. You know when you go like this and you come out sideways. So I did one of those at the Brooklyn Bank. It was kind of hard, weird to skate. That's not like Lockwood. I don't know. It was weird to skate that back. I couldn't go over that wall. Damn it! I was trying. You know. I used to fake it, like be like jump, just go, just jump over. I'm like, it's hard to get. I couldn't catch that bump, but everything else, the hip was dope, and like everything else was sick. So I was out there for a long time. Mark Gonzalez had the company, Ron Chapman. I don't know what happened, but something got all mixed up, and we weren't getting our checks and stuff like that. It was just like a crazy ordeal, and I know it wasn't Mark's fault. It was just like management people up there doing it, and like. You know, so I just, you know, things weren't working out in a sense for me. And I had a son on the way. And I just needed to make some real strong changes, man. And I said, you know, shit, why not go and do this? And we actually got approached by Kareem when we were on the D train talking about this in New York on the way to a club. And we were like, we were on the train, man. And like, we were talking about starting a company.
Who's we again?
Kareem, Chico Brenes, Joey Suriel, Keenan, Rick Rivera, Callis. We were all right, just us. There was us, and we had a couple of other cats from New York that were with us too. And we were all going to this club, and I think it was in the Bronx called The Fever. The Fever. You remember that? I don't know if anybody remembers that. There was a crazy club in the Bronx called The Fever, bro. Wow. Like, yeah, crazy by all standards, West and East Coast. Yeah. Wow. Bi-coastal crazy. So, it was dope though, but it was like ran by like all those dudes in the Bronx, like Big Pun and Joe and them. Wow. You know, and there was a lot of crazy things that went down there. So we went to this, and so that's where I believe that Menace was started, and we talked about it, and we were like, that was the first time I heard it, and I was like, yeah, and then we started. It was gonna be I right away I was like, who's it gonna be? It's gonna be me, Joey, Steven, and we're gonna get
Billy
Valdez.
Billy Valdez.
Yeah. So Billy wasn't happy. We were all like not happy, so we said, fuck it, we come back, and we did our first ad in front of Extra Large.
And
Pupeki got in there too. He was our token white boy.
Pupeki was sick. Back 780 Fakey 5 was on tables.
He was dope, bro.
Before anybody,
his style, right? Ahead of his time.
Viking.
Yeah. Tall, lanky.
Yeah.
And just chill.
Yeah, he looked like, hey, Scoob. Yeah, he looked like, you know, but skating dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, super sick skater.
Yeah.
Quick question. So jumping back a little bit. So for me, again, like being raised in LA, and you were raised in LA, correct? So when now all of a sudden you're taking skating seriously, you're approached by brands, you're on, and you're traveling. Was this like the first time you were traveling, you know what I'm saying, prior? Like, and how was that, leaving the city and going other places and seeing the world, you know? Because I feel like, man, it's
a lot, bro.
Yeah.
First stop was Amsterdam, homie. First stop. It was like, damn. That's a lot for you, you know?
Right.
Like, Amsterdam's a lot to take in, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it looked crazy. It was dope, but it was like too good to be true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like one of those places where like, man, I could get in trouble here. That'd be cool. And first time, you know, you go there and you just see all these like people looking like Mad Max. You know what I mean? Like walking around and just regular people just smoking everything. And back then we were just blazing everything in sight. First time I went to a cafe and it was legal, and everybody's just blazing on the street like that. I felt like the way everybody is today here.
Right.
Back then it was like highly illegal. So, you know, just walking around there. First stop was actually Amsterdam, and then we went to like Holland and then Germany and France, and we did the whole thing, and we ended up in Prague. It was crazy, man.
Wow.
Yeah, but I remember we went deep. Do you remember the back in the world days when Prime and Plan B, all the whole umbrella of world?
everybody's-
We were all. I was there with all the big dogs. You know what I'm
101.
saying? I had just got put on too. I still have fresh bruises, man. So I just got put on it, and I was like, damn, all these. I'm there with Ronnie Bertino, Danny Way, Colin McKay.
That's sick.
Fuck, dude, like what? I'm there, and I look over, and then like Jeremy Ray. I'm like, shit, dude, powerhouse of fools, dog.
Heavy
Gotta
hitters.
skate good, eh?
Right. Right.
Gotta step up.
Gotta tap in.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
Focus.
start pulling out that machete, fool.
So Rodney Mullen
Rodney.
was, and Kareem were they your
Rodney,
managers?
yeah, Rodney
was the team manager for World.
See, Kareem would give us like they were both, bro. They would take they would tag team on us, bro.
That's
Yeah.
They had to because we were like a lot to deal with, I think, back then for them. So they had to, bro. We were destroying things and like fighting amongst each other. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how many fights I had with Pupex, and I still want to fight them. No, I'm joking. But like still, it's like Pupex. Like all of us would, even with Steven, me and Joey would get into it. Everybody would get into it too. Just being in a band. A bunch of us got different personalities. you know?
Right.
Al Garcia told me, I guess, that Rodney Mullen pushed you to develop your frontside flips and take
did.
it to the next level.
Yeah.
Like you did frontside flip, fake Emmanuel,
No.
Los Feliz.
No, he definitely
Like-
did that, bro. Yeah, I could
So-
honestly say he pushed me to do that shit. Like,
Like-
What did he tell you? Right?
Well,
like,
like-
the role of a team manager, like Rodney's case, right?
I remember him coming up to me like this, bro, and just being like, "Oh, Fabian, Fabian, I want to talk to you." You know how he talks?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, no disrespect, but I like imitating Rod because that's my boy, bro. So he's like, you have so much power, like in your frontside flips, and if you just take it over things, and I could see you, you're gonna, and he would get all like, and I was just
Right.
like, Rodney, fool, like, chill. Like,
Love
what
it,
are you
love
doing? Like, get off
Love
me.
you, Rodney.
No, Rodney's the shit, bro. And
And
like, but he
switch
would,
frontside
but
flips. And
his
switch frontside flips.
so yeah, he
those
told me to
two
do them switch, like do them forward, and then you because you have powerful switch kick flips, you could do it frontside. So that's when I did over the bench.
You do it over the table,
over the bench too.
on bench
flat.
at Lockwood.
And Lockwood on flat, yeah.
And
then
did you see like
I used to
that-
do it like up things, like in in contests. Like I used to frontside flip up things and then switch frontside flip up little, like the Manny pad, like
sick.
where they were doing grinds and shit at Tampa. The big thing where everybody like the high ledge. Well, back then I don't know how it was different, but yeah, I developed them because he pushed me. Man.
Right.
So he
and
pushed
like he
you, right?
really
Yeah.
on. I remember at World he would talk to me. He'll pull everyone aside. Rodney was like that. He'll pull everybody aside and be like, he had something for everybody, because he's an analysis, bro. He
Right.
like he sees things like the Matrix. It's just like numbers, fool.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
fabulous.
Yeah, I just something else. He's special, bro.
He is. Yes.
Rodney's a legend, and like really, his words are powerful. And I remember him just getting in my head about that and about doing that trick. And then so I he's the reason probably why I did the switch 180 nose grind on King rail, because he was the switch frontside flips felt like easy, so I could do switch 180s up a picnic table to manual, and I could do all like just because like things that I would, because I was too much fucking smoking marijuana and kicking it. I was too much into my own life. I had problems with my family, things of baby mama at the time when no one had kids back then. I had kids, and all you guys were like, "Oh man, you're gonna go?" Yeah, I gotta go. I got a son. I gotta go back home. But everybody else was like single, party, Now their kids are like all little and they gotta stay home, and my kids are grown. What's up? I'm out here free now. Yeah, I can go do what I want. Now your kids are still like, "Oh, I gotta watch my kid. Yeah, I'm still in school." Like, nah, dog, it's done. But me, I kind of developed all that because of what he said, but at the same time, I'm skating around a bunch of crazy. Look at Kareem, bro.
Like Kareem and Kareem
Dude,
Campbell's
Kareem,
sick.
yeah,
He's-
even Gino, like everybody was sick.
So it just levels
Everybody
up.
had their own, like,
Right.
yeah, because people were just doing crazy tricks, and like you just, it was natural. Like it came so easy. Ronnie Bertino, are you kidding me?
switchback lips down rails.
Like just nollie backside heels, like on call. Keenan, like I skated with those
Keenan.
guys on tour, bro. Like just being around those dudes, like skating with them, even in LA. Not even being on tour, bro. Just skating in LA every day. We'd skate with Girl and Chocolate guys.
Yeah. Any Keenan story, even if it's something.
Yeah,
Rest
bro.
in peace.
Rest
Check
in
this
peace.
out. Man. So we're on Hollywood Boulevard. on Highland, no, La Brea, where the big ledge was, where he did that pop switch, backside pop, switch pop, and then switch crooked. So that ledge we're skating, and some dudes come by, and Socrates is filming us, and these 4 dudes that passed by were like, made a crazy remark, and I'm there with Pupeki. I think it was Sock was there, Gabe, a lot of other people. Like I think they could have. I don't know who was there, but there was quite a few people. But I know for sure Keenan was there, Pupeki was there, and Sock. So what happened is they passed by and said something, and like, and they kind of bumped me, and they said, "Man, these skaters are pussy," or something like that. And I go, "Not these skaters." And I said it loud, and I turned my hat backwards, and I was like, "What's up?" Like when you get locked up, the eyes come out. So I put my hat backwards, and it's over, fool. It's gone. It's going down. So I pulled out the skate, and like, wait, I had my skateboard, but I threw it down because this fool came up to my face. So now we're like,
Wow.
This is old school style, like we go in face to face. Remember, like, what? And he was like, what? And I was like, and all of a sudden I felt this 7-foot crackhead with pink shorts coming in waving a 40 ounce on me. Boom! And it like he swung a big old, and everybody just ducked out, right? And here's big ass Ezell with pink shorts on, and I don't know what the fuck this guy came from, but he had a 40, and he tried to wave it on me. And now we're all running around, and everybody's like all dispersed, and these fools, we never even got to fight, bro. Because old crackhead, he came in and just tried to like fight the whole thing, because I guess he knew those guys. So he threw a 40 at my back, and it hit my back, and then it fell, and then it popped. And then that shit didn't hurt. It didn't even feel nothing until the next day. I did. It hurt bad. Still hurts. No. But it fucked me up. And then I was like, so we had an altercation like that, and he was right there with me. Remember when I told you we was face to face? Keenan was right here.
Wow.
Everybody else in the back. You know what I'm saying?
He stepped it up.
And that's when I was
That's
like,
Keenan.
man,
Still.
I knew he was like, he was there for me. And there was 2 Mexicans and 2 blacks that was fighting us for him. And then Socrates was on the other side. Socrates was like this with his camera, like, I don't want no problems, Holmes, But Soc, that's a cameraman. It's okay, it's all good. I've kicked it with Keenan in New York. I stood at his house, stood with his brother. His brother was, was a rapper, and he was rapping at the time. He had like some music going on. I stood at his house a lot. We he lived in crazy projects, and I spent time with him, man. He's a good dude. He was a great dude, bro. Yeah,
always smile.
It's like, look at Keenan, Harold Hunter, Keenan, Gabriel, like Justin.
Right.
Like all them people died so soon, bro.
Right.
It's like it was so crazy how like they were just. There's more. If I'm not mentioning them, there's more. But like just right the immediate like circle right there. It's like, wow, it's so crazy, man.
So crazy.
For what? Like because they consumed too much of one thing, And we didn't know no better. We don't know no better. We're drinking, smoking, bro. We don't know no better.
I was at that party when he passed away.
You were there?
4th of July
you were
party.
At the party?
At the party in Malibu. He got us into the party.
No way.
He put us on the guest list. He passed away the next day.
Yeah.
You were still there, or you were?
No, we left like
already?
2, 3 a.m. in the morning.
See, I had a kid. That's why I didn't go.
Yeah. It was the craziest party of the year.
Yeah.
4th of July, the owners of the streetwear brand, I don't know what it's called, like they had the biggest party on
What,
top.
Action? No.
No, it's like Kickwear or one of those like rave brands.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go.
They had a house
like raves?
on a hill. They owned
That's
the
why I
whole
didn't go.
hill. And they had
Damn.
like a house and then a pool. And he
I'll
died
get
in the
down
pool
with it.
No.
the next morning. He passed
Like
away.
raves?
I'll play you some tracks. Yeah.
God, you play rave music?
Yeah.
I don't rave. I don't really rave. I gotta go get my whistle and shit. Hold on. Nah, see, though, I don't do that. I just don't. I'm too. I never did that.
But he was always smiling, always happy.
Right.
Keenan, positive guy.
That's how
Super chill.
everyone remembers him that way, and like every story that
Dog, he's
shared
a
is
good
like,
dude, bro. Keep the shirt
Good
off his
dude,
back.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like that energy is still felt to this day for sure, because even I have a lot of Keenan boards, and it's just based off.
Do you have a Fabian Alomar board?
You know what? The magician made it happen.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we got a couple.
I mean, there are
a
some
couple of books.
graphics. There's
Yeah.
that old one from Menace with the girl with the gloves,
Yeah.
the boxing gloves. Damn,
That was
I've seen
hard.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, I like that.
That was, but
They got the gloves. from
Menace was the most, in my opinion, maybe the most popular, the most influential skate brand of the 90s. Why do you think that was? It was like the craziest company. They sold the most amount of stuff, decks,
from
apparel.
like 94 to like 90, or when did it start? 95.
94, I think.
They started in 94.
94.
So like 98, that range.
And then we changed
Well,
it. No, 97,
no, 96.
96 because of the MNC.
He went to
It went from
MNC.
MNC because
Gotcha,
of some
gotcha.
raver
Yeah,
company.
Oh, the rate.
You know what I'm saying?
Guilty by
What do
association.
you think
No, I'm playing,
after,
I'm playing.
after it went from MNC to All City, I think maybe when the sales dropped? Because the Menace had like the, the brand recognition. And then it went to All City and then City Stars.
Yeah.
He changed the name 4 times.
So yeah, that's
so that's,
and then
I mean, do you know what I mean?
Did you know it went from All City that Russell Simmons got involved because All City is his or something like that. Like he sent
Something
his
like
lawyers to
Yeah.
So then they had to change it to City Star. That's when they go to City Star. It was All City, and he had All City Fat Farm or some shit like that.
But like that,
Crazy.
those first 3 years or 2.5 years, Menace,
Menace.
you guys took the world over by
I think
storm.
just a year. Menace. And then
Or
went to
even a year.
MNC
Like,
for a couple of years.
When it was
Yeah.
Menace, like
That was-
that was
and MNC was fire.
Yeah.
Sales were like crazy.
Yeah, I remember it was really good, man. And like we had a lot of like we had a lot of love everywhere we went, and we weren't that really good.
You guys always say that.
No, you
Yeah,
I feel like
I was okay.
like,
I wasn't at
yeah.
the, I'm not first, but I'm definitely not last.
But no, you guys were telling
But
another
like,
story.
damn, dude, there was like way better. Like I thought, like I was just happy to hang out with like some of the dudes that I was like you got to meet. I was fanned out without telling them.
Who was on the team? Menace. You,
OGs.
Billy Valdez,
Joey
Surreal,
Steven Callis, Javier Nunez,
Opeki,
Eric Pupecki, Lee Smith.
Lee Smith.
After that was okay. So how many do you got right now? How many? That's 7 because it was originally 8, and then when Kane Gale and everybody else came on, like Casper. Remember what's his name? Not am I saying it right? Long, something Long.
Long?
I want to say Howie Long, but he's a Raider. Hold on. Something Long. He skated for City Stars at the end with P-Rod.
Mikey Taylor.
Mikey Taylor and another
That's
dude.
a whole new generation.
That's a
yeah.
whole. See, I was already.
That's a whole.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
Mikey
gone.
Taylor,
That's-
Kevin Spanky Long.
There you go,
Right,
Spanky
right.
Long.
All the-
See,
yeah.
Damn, dude.
That's a whole.
So
yeah.
so I don't remember too well of those guys. I like that's when
yeah,
Joey
that's a-
Joey stood there because I got locked up. So, I remember it being. I remember P-Rod, and after P-Rod, I seen Spanky and Mikey Taylor. I saw them when they were kids, and I was like, I was looking at them like, who are you?
Just in case
Yeah.
was also on City Stars. This guy was super fire.
Oh yeah.
Newberry Park.
Yeah. When I came home, they told me about him, and he
Yeah.
reached out on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Yeah.
When you first saw P-Rod, though, I mean, well, did you?
Well, I was
did you
looking
see
at
it?
him I didn't. I only heard and I seen a little bit, and I was like, dude, he's dope. Hispanic kid, like dope, And then plus, all I knew that what you guys don't know is back then I was already thinking like I love entertainment, so I was already getting into like me. I was getting into like, believe it or not, Holmes,
Movies?
not those kind of movies.
Oh, hey.
The other kind, you know what I'm saying? So I dabbled into that first, and then dabbled into like, doing I had like a manager who was taking me to doing like I had long luscious hair at one point, bro.
Really?
Shut up.
I'm gonna look it up on the
So
archive.
I did, and I used to model, homie. And I was like, I had to sit down and like little stuff. And I did a commercial for, OP, bro. $1,000 back in the day just to jump on a trampoline with the girl. I was like, what? This Hyena, me and the Hyena jumping up and down a trampoline and getting paid $1,000. I'll do this all day. Like, I was like, wow, dude. And I got a taste of that. And I was like, dude, I want to do this more. Did little videos and stuff, little things like that. Those are things that I got. And I was kind of like, skateboarding was cool, but I was starting to make a shift.
Right.
But then I got,
Right.
And then I went.
But that's interesting though, because even today,
Fuck
right, skateboarding opens up other avenues as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
big time.
Right.
It saved my
Yeah.
life from drugs and just being in jail, like just
So-
running another life.
Prison.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, prison, dude. Like
What
from the skateboarding, like I was doing well and I was doing good, and then like, you know, when things happen in your family, you know, when something happens to a family member, you jump to the occasion because you feel responsible. You know what I'm saying? So, I did that and got locked up, and went and did like damn near 9 years, and then came out and then started. That's when I started going to girl again.
Yeah.
But in that trend, in that time, don't think I wasn't thinking of skateboarding, even though I had to worry about my immediate, you know, area. But I was always like in there skating in my head, bro. I'd be
Right.
working out, thinking of skating, looking at bars and rails, like imagining stuff. Had an imaginary fingerboard, you know.
Just to talk about leading up to, right, being incarcerated and all that. Because Menace, I'm just thinking about that Menace year. Like, you guys made it out. I mean,
so crazy.
From the outside looking in, it's like, oh damn, they made it out. You know, even though I don't know whether you're still living, you know, in LA or whatever the scenario is, but y'all were rock stars. So
Yep.
how do you? And I still have that question now with skateboarding. Is like, how do you keep your head on your shoulders?
Straight.
You know what I'm saying? Straight during these times, right?
It's hard.
I've seen that
It's
happen
really
so many
hard.
times. So many great skaters, and it's like, damn, they have everything they need to
Well,
basically.
look at what we did. Look at how each and every one of us dispersed and kind of did their own thing. You know, Joey stood on and managed with Kareem, and spiraled out of control. And I think he was, you know, had an accident, and then he started working with Diamond. He stood in the game for a while, but eventually he led. You know, his path was God. You know, just to be all in, you know, a pastor. And he does other things too, real estate and everything. But his life is like basically under the umbrella of his calling. So
Yeah.
Pupeki DJ'd and went back to Rhode Island and lived in a river next to a cabin. No, I don't know what Pupeki did, but he was DJing and doing his stuff. You know, I don't know. And then Billy stood skating, dog business. You know, he did other stuff. He was doing graphics.
Graphic design.
He was doing graphic design, but then he ended up eventually, you know, now he's successful right now.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing good. And so, you know, he's happy. And Kareem still skating.
Wow.
Still skating, going hard like you know.
King.
Yeah, man, still
Yeah.
kick flipping and doing whatever. You know, he's still in the game and doing it. So I you know, Javier, working for doing acting, getting into acting, doing that show, you know, in New York, right? How to Make It in America, and then you know, then coming out and getting into Supreme, and now just
Supreme.
Now it's like he's you know he's doing what he's doing. He had a
Right.
company at one time. You know, he had his own skate company, and everybody's happy doing their own thing, bro.
Right.
And I found mine, you know, but it took a minute. Like a little bit of hurdles here and there. It took a while for me to, because you know I've always had that dream, right? Even when I was in the joint and watching a show called Southland.
Oh yeah.
Remember Southland? So I was in High Desert. I was in a level 4 180 yard, and I was in there and I was watching that show, and I was going home like in another couple years, and this show was on, and I don't know how many times I prayed to God and said that I want to be on that show, and I came out, and within a year I was on that show.
Damn.
Wow.
And I didn't know what manifestation was back then. I just know that God and prayer, and sometimes we only pray when we need Him. We don't pray when we just like living good, you know.
Right.
So that has been the difference in my life. Like,
God.
well, I'm gonna say this:
The
my
turning point.
my understanding of my God. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own understanding of it. So with me, it's always been, you know, like I've always prayed. I've always said my prayers. My mom knows that. And everybody in my family, whoever knows me, knows that. You know, it's just I even made back in the day before we even got started skating, I made up a rule called church violence. If you didn't do the cross and take off your hat and do the cross when we skated by a church, you get one in the shoulder. And you get one of those dropper ones, like that drop your shit, you know what I mean? Like, so we started doing that, and I got other people into doing it, because, like, you know, we grew up loving God, me, Joey, Juan, and, like, all of our friends, you know, that grew up with us. So we would do, like, little things like that, because that's how strongly we believe, bro. And I've always been that way, but it's kind of like a thing that you don't bring out to your homies in skating, or you don't go to jail and talk about it, but you do it in your own private world, in your own private time.
Yeah.
I think now the turning point for me coming out this time out of prison is different because I realize and know what I got. And I've put too many years down already in doing, making bad decisions and based off of like ego and liquor and drugs and all that. So, if you got to make some sacrifices, right? You have to, if you want to live long and you want to be prosperous, man. And I choose to do it my own way, and I'm not perfect. I still cuss and I still do all kinds of stuff, but there's a lot of things that I'm working on. Like as far as myself, I know that it's been that very reason why I am still here, and I got good people, solid people that are with me in skateboarding and in the film industry, and as people in general, just friends that I know, the people I've met. I always say this: when you meet people, like it's not always. You don't know what the reason you meet them for. It could be good or bad, but that doesn't. That decision will play it in due time. They'll play themselves out, or either they play themselves in, and they become really solid and really good. So I never doubt nobody and give nobody like, oh man, like I don't want to meet him or I don't want to know her and I don't want to. Everybody gets a fair chance, right? And I believe in fair chance. I believe in second, third, fourth, and fifth chances because I've had that. And I believe strongly in it, and I'm also with this organization called ARC, and Anti-Recidivism Coalition, and I got in there through Scott Budnick. Scott Budnick is a big executive producer for like the Hangover franchise. He's done a ton of movies, and he used to come to my cell in Pelican Bay, and try to get me into ARC, and talk to me about it or whatever, and send his guys to come. And so eventually I got on ARC, and it changed everything for me, man. How the way you think and the way you process stuff, you know what I mean? The way the old me would have still be in jail right now. You know what I mean? You gotta grow. If you don't, and you gotta let go of like your old habits, bro. A lot of us, like, that's called maturing and getting older, man. And then you just little by little, it's baby steps, bro. But I just think that that's what did it for me. And this time in prison was an eye opener because I went in there a little bit. I went to Pelican Bay first of all, and I went in there a little bit popular, and I off that Cholos Try stuff, So and like that's not good. Never, nowhere. You go, they think you're some big shot. You know what I mean? So that, and then coming home, just wanting to like, all right, I'm done with it, and I know that I had a chance. I was just saying this earlier. I had a chance to come home way earlier, and to go to a different yard and go step it down. So instead you get in trouble and then you go to a higher level. So I had a chance to go home, but what did I do? I stood because I don't, there's the politics in there is crazy. And then like right now I'm on camera and people will say, oh, you came from a such and such kind of yard. And that's how it is in that world, So I wanted to stay extra and rather get in trouble. That's how you think. That's the process. You'd rather get in trouble, stay there longer, and be with the solid homies than rather go get out early and check in and be with some weirdo shit. So I took the longer way, and I did that for a reason because I knew that I'd be in front of telling my story in front of a camera or giving back, because that was the goal. That was and I didn't want to have nothing following me. So I stood extra longer, got in more trouble, and did 5 years instead of 3.5.
And you mentioned that you would think about skateboarding
all the
time still.
Even in the hole.
Wow.
Yeah, I would think about it.
Yeah. Play out tricks in your head, things. That
always just looking at ledges, walking down when I'm handcuffed and I'm getting escorted. I'll be like, man, I would hit that right there with a crooked grind right there. Boom, come on. What? You know what I mean? When you're getting escorted, the cops don't even know that. They probably think you're looking at like you're crazy. But I'm actually looking at skateboard stuff,
Yeah, once a skater, always a skater.
Yeah.
Always looking at spots.
Like I'm always saying this to whoever I'm like sitting shotgun.
Driving down the street.
Dude,
oh, look at that rail.
What are you looking at? Oh man, that's a crazy spot right there. What a spot? What do you mean?
Like, ledge.
My sister or somebody would be like, what are you talking about, man?
Right.
Yeah. Later, like, oh man, that's some skater shit.
Just one little message you have for the youth, because like it's hard, man. Like I grew up in Frogtown. I grew up with like sometimes you have homies that are in gangs, but like not even just by association, just because like
Oh,
their cousins.
you could be
are in
guilty
their-
by association,
Yeah.
big time. That's what I was.
Right.
By association all the time. you
Right.
know?
And
Yeah.
but like you could tell like we're growing up and we want to do better. We want to be, luckily for me, I was able to say no to a lot of things. And I guess at an early age, I was like, no, because I want to do well at this. I want to do well at this. And I don't know, I just think staying away from that. But it's easier said than done because I literally have friends that we both made a pact, like, hey, we're not going to do this. But then he didn't hold his end. And like, it just
He got
sucks
in-
where
he
he's
got
at.
into a gang?
It just, it sucks where he's at right now and all
what's
the
he doing?
things and watch all.
Is he
He's
doing
not.
time?
He's been in and out, in and out, in and out. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like I'm a dad now. I have a business and like and it's you look back and you're like, damn, bro, like we're both supposed to be here. We both.
It's all about choices, like E40 said, right? It's all about choices, bro. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel bad because everybody has their own book to write, and you write your own wave. So it's like a lot of people. It's not for everybody, and some dudes in jail they deserve to come home. A lot of them deserve to come home, but there are some that just love it in there, or it seems like they do. Some cats just want to, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if they would handle the streets. I had an uncle that was just like, come out and be like, damn, super lost.
Right.
He was the man in there, though. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it depends on who you are and how, I have other family members that never left the block until they got older,
Yeah.
So,
Skateboarding is the outlet, though. That's kind of what.
Yeah, it definitely saved me from all that. And that's what Scott Budnick would come to my cell and say, you're a skater. You did these funny videos and you're a skater. And I'm like, yeah. And then so he goes, man, get in. We'll take care of you. At ARC is a good program. And I would just be like, man, who is this white boy? Like, he was cool though, man. So cool to know. He's an angel in disguise, bro. So when I got in and I came out and I, they flew me home and put a little bit of money in my pocket. And back then it was like I came home in the pandemic, so it was like the top of 2021, and it was like everybody was masked up and the streets were empty. So I was like, damn, I came out of an empty prison to come into the empty streets. It was like just my luck. It'd be rainy vaginas, I get hit with a dick. God, what kind of luck is that, bro?
But that time, that's when people actually were skating low key kind of more though, getting outside because you couldn't go to this store. You couldn't, so it was like
the spots were
sneak
open.
out and go to the spot right now because no one's there.
No one's there. Yeah,
you
it
know?
was the perfect time to do a film too if you had the equipment and everything. Like to shoot a movie like The Walking Dead Part 9 or something.
Damn. So
Like it was empty, bro. We could have skated anything if you really wanted to. It was
Right.
empty. Tag, whatever.
So Menace
Yeah.
to MNC
MNC,
All
All
City
City
Stars. So that jump, and I know you guys talked about it in like other documentaries and stuff, but like changing the name 4 times.
Bro, it
It
was
just
like,
kinda
what?
kills
It
it,
kinda
huh?
yeah, what do you mean? It kind of killed it.
It's-
Shot in the head, bro.
Yep.
Because everyone wanted to be Menace, and it was
Yeah,
like, MNC
man.
was like, we're
That's right.
preserving it, but then
And it
after
got
that,
taken
like,
away by a company with a pacifier in their mouth. No lie, that was their logo.
Bro, we're going to rave next.
Menace with the.
We're going to a rave,
It was
man.
like, what the?
I would like to take you to a rave.
Yeah, I ain't stepping no foot in no ring.
But yeah, that sucks because
Bring my
you guys
whistle.
were. I mean, to this day, people still talk about it. It's funny in basketball world, street ball. I'm basketball. I used to play in Philippines, Mexico. I would say that. But there was and one, right? That was
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah.
for example, that was a big name, right? And then there was
Street ball.
yeah,
I love
ball.
that.
So there were other brands that came out, but it was like when you're changing the name so
can't
much,
do that,
then
man.
it kind of
You burn the whole cha-cha of it, bro. You can't do
Can't
that,
do it.
bro. Yeah.
Even though City Stars is
It takes
dope,
a little bit
Yeah.
from it. It
but
takes every
yeah,
time.
but it was City Stars is like a whole different.
Even the
roster.
skaters were bummed.
Right.
We were bummed too. Like you kept changing it and like, wow, bro, let's get the paperwork right or something. We didn't know about that back then, though. Nobody knows. So nobody knew, and I didn't know better. Psh, I'm just a writer. I'm just a skater.
Right.
Going with the flow, bro. Just happy to get a check every month and
Right.
fly around the world.
But it's still
got my own space, got my own pad, kid, 2 cars. I was living barbecuing every day. I'm living the dream, Papa. Corona,
Chilling.
chicken.
See,
I was doing good, feeding my neighbors.
but when it started slowing down, like everyone starts kind of like, oh damn, what's going on? Like,
Yeah, well, damn, dude. Like, first of all, the skating started slowing down because I think a lot of us were like we had so many things going on. so many little things were going on. Like besides the injuries and besides like the normal stuff, it was like
A lot of distractions.
a lot of distractions, bro. Drugs got in the way for me. I can only speak for myself. I don't know about everybody else, but I could speak for me. And it was like tension at home, drama at my mom's, in the neighborhood, shit. Just for me, it was true. I turned to drugs. Like, give me a hit, and that was it. It was over. I fucking little by little, I was gone, and that's like the beginning of the downfall for me. Like, yeah. But you know what? If it didn't happen, I wouldn't be here because you know, it all had to happen for some reason, bro. Because now I'll never touch that shit again. You know.
And your story is inspirational. Like, your story has that happy ending. Your story is still going on, right? And it's something that is still talked about. Nautic was the basketball dog. They were like the street ball because
I remember that.
Nautic was
like,
hey, you know about those fools in Canada?
Yeah.
And that was only for like a year or two, same thing. But I feel like Menace was like that because if you knew, it was like that was it.
Yeah.
But they never came out with like the second or the third tape that they were supposed to come out with. Then same thing. It was like Menace.
We got
supposed to go to.
We never really put out a whole video, bro.
Right.
A whole video part for us
Never.
being like all like you're saying, and I appreciate that. But we never even put out a whole real video part. We had like little montages here, and we was in everything. We were in the Chocolate Girl video and all that, and we kind of had our own little thing, 411 magazines, but Big Brother. But we only did Trilogy and 20 shot sequence.
20 shot.
Why do you think everyone was rocking with you though? Because you said it like, oh, we weren't the best
I
skaters.
still
but
that
come on,
I
man,
think
everyone
about it
was
all the
rocking.
time. Like even I look back and I'm like, yeah, we were cool, but damn. Right. Yeah, we got. I mean, I probably as a whole, as a unit, you know, like everybody together. Like, I think there were some. Like, I'm speaking for myself, man. I think I could have done way. I should have done. I didn't go to my potential because of all the distractions, bro. And if you know, nowadays people got pressure on them. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of big money involved. Like all these big dog skaters. You know, I didn't feel that pressure. I didn't feel it. I felt the pressure. Of course, you got to go do some stuff, but you know, it was like. I felt there was different pressure coming from different angles and different places for me. For me, it was different. It wasn't skateboarding was like something like I loved and I prayed for and I thank you for it. And I was like, man, but I didn't know that everything else would come with it. And like, I got relatives that are going through shit, and to this day, I still do. To this day, I still battle that with family and like things that my family. I got brothers and sisters that are still getting in trouble,
Right.
And some of them, are in real big trouble. And so what do? You can't ignore it. You know what I mean? You got to deal with it, but you deal with it the only way you know, and you try to be the best you can. And I still got to get in front of a camera and talk and still be myself, right?
Right.
But there's things that are happening in life, bro. Like you have to deal with.
Seems like skateboarding was always held sacred for you because you talked about it how like even in your lowest lows you were like you didn't want to bring that into skateboarding. I think you talked about like, oh, I didn't want to like show my face.
No, I was embarrassed
and stuff.
Embarrassed, bro. Super embarrassed to be like high or like not doing good and then show up to my friends and then they could see right through you. Like, oh man, he's not doing good. He's on drugs or he's high or something.
But then. It was the opposite, right? Like when you got out of prison, and then it was like, didn't you say Guy Mariano picked you up or whatever?
Yeah, he was the first
Guy,
one.
but,
Dude, I came home, and I went to a skate lab in San Diego.
Yeah.
My
Skateboard
board
Hall of
was
Fame.
two of my boards were on the top of that roof in the ceiling.
Yeah, and they had a skate museum.
Yeah, and so I seen it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's my board right there, and they still got it. And then some dude comes up to me, some random dude. Hey, you're Fabian. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, wow, yeah. And he goes, dude, Jerron and Eric Costin and Guy were just here. I go, what? That's cool, man. They're still here. And he goes, yeah, you want to talk to him? I go, whose number you got? So he calls Jerron. And then Jerron, I think he was with Eric Costin or something. And then I talked to them before Guy. I go, hey, you give me Guy's number. So they gave me Guy's number. And I had my little Obama phone, back then. And I was like, I tried to BlackBerry that shit in. And I was like, then I I called Guy the next couple days. He came to pick me up. I was staying in the valley, and he came to pick me up and took me to Girl. Got a box and started skating. First day out, I did a cookie grind and a heel flip. A manual on the pad. Shit, I did more shit than I did back then than I do today. Man, I was skating better than back then.
How'd it feel?
It felt good, bro. Like I felt, and then me and Gabe started hitting the hip. Like me and Gabe would go there. Like we'd have a routine, man. Me and Gabriel had the best routine, bro. We'd go to Girl and try. I can say this now. Rick, Mike, everybody, Meg. Sorry, but me and Gabe used to go get a box at Girl and Chocolate every Friday and go skate. Right, we would skate the skate park in Torrance when they were in 223rd.
Krilltap Park.
Yeah, so we skate that whole shit, man, and it would be dope. And then after that, we stop at the liquor store. I park my car at his house, and then we go go to the liquor store, drink, go to Sam's Hofbräu. And then they got free food from this time to that time, you know, like from 4:30 to 6:30. They serve you little like whatever, like tacos and little corn dogs and shit. But we broke, we didn't give a shit. So we go, and then we go to we go to Girl. Before we hit the Sam's Hofbräu, we stop at the skate park over there in the skate shop
Alley Skate?
No, the one in South Central, 83rd and Warning Skate Shop.
Warning, yeah.
And he cashes out.
Yep, Warning.
Or we go to Dave.
Martin.
Yeah,
Martin.
Martin would look
and
out.
Dave Alley Skate.
Our Dave Alley Skate would cash us out, bro. And then we go to fucking all bad. We think we're hard, and we go to fucking Sam's Hofbräu and like go play pool, get lappies, drink, and all that shit. It was cool, man. Like that's when me and Gabe did that every weekend, bro. Every Friday, bro. It was so dope, man.
Thanks for sharing that. That sounds amazing.
And then we smoked weed. Like, it was just like crazy because we had a routine, you know. That was our routine. That was like a routine for me, bro.
Yeah.
And this was like 2010.
Damn.
Yeah, 2010.
We have one more board.
We do have one more board. Yeah, we covered
Actually,
a lot, huh, dude?
Two more like that
more?
one, and then
All right.
we'll talk about this one.
Bet. Let's go
So,
here.
let's go this one.
Oh yeah.
This is.
Yeah.
This is.
So, all right. So
You already know you're a pro at this now. So.
All right. Let me see.
You know.
Got to start it off.
Do this one slow, like build it up, you
show
know.
the graphic.
Oh, snap. Slow climax. There's the climax scene. Dun, dun.
Oh my
Dun,
god.
David and Alomar. Yeah.
This
go.
is badass, bro.
So-
this is dope. I'm gonna skate this right now.
So art by Mark McKee.
Dude, this is bad.
Yeah. Show the graphic. Yeah. So this was printed today.
It's fresh. Still hot.
Still hot.
Smell
Yeah.
it, smell
Fresh
it,
off
smell
the
it.
press. Mark McKee.
Fresh.
Like new money.
That's yeah.
Mark McKee gave us the art and okay to do this. We'll have you sign after the show. We'll have you sign the boards.
Yeah.
And we'll do a blind
Dude,
drop.
Mark, thank you, man.
This is
And
the
then-
old English
so-
graphic, yeah.
Thank
How
you.
this
man.
one, Mark McKee gave us low resolution art, and then Jesse Sanchez, they both used to work at World. Jesse Sanchez
Sanchez.
digitized the art. He used to do video stuff with Sock.
Yeah, I remember
He did all
his name.
the animation. So he digitized this over the weekend, and Dave printed it today. And also another guy, Charlie King, made a screen to make this possible. So it was a whole operation to get this board done in a couple of days.
Still important.
He's important.
Yeah.
Reissue essentially, right?
a reissue.
Original was like 95 also, 96.
I don't know what year or what
Damn,
brand.
it looks even better. Like they
Yeah.
went inside. He did some touch-ups, right?
He did,
This
yeah,
is actually
yeah.
different than because the first
a
one
little
wasn't.
different, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have this shadowing and this coloring right here. It didn't have that. I remember. But damn, it looks even hard. That's
Looks
not
dope.
hard. Hard.
So this, we're gonna do the blind
Yeah,
bag
yeah.
with this one.
Yep.
You're gonna
So
sign.
people will get a chance. We have a couple extra. People are gonna get a chance to
And-
pull a Fabian Alomar banger.
This
You're
was
either gonna
the-
get the old English, right? This is
Gold Star Gas
brand. This is Menace.
I don't know if that was Menace
Okay.
or MNC.
I think it
or-
was MNC,
MNC,
but it was the
yeah.
Menace
Yeah.
days
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Then you got this here.
This was a guest model Fabian did with Gold Star. We
That's
did this
actually my
one-
arm right there, fool. Yeah.
We did this one after the first. You just got out the first.
I just got out the first. Yeah,
Yeah.
first time
Yeah.
back
so,
in 2010.
So yeah, you'll sign both of these.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah, so we'll have
Yeah.
like a blind bag. They'll have a chance to get one of these or a dipped, gold dipped Fabian.
You want to get a
Alomar.
dip?
Gold metallic
We gonna
dip.
smoke a dip, all of it.
So yeah, that's what we do. We make boards, special edition, signed, and then we drop them.
Hell yeah.
That's what we call the Wallride experience.
That's badass.
The X
Hey,
and the Wallride.
you know what?
dog.
This is badass. Thank
Yeah.
you, Marco,
No,
man.
thank you
bro.
for coming. Thank
you know
you
what?
for coming for sure.
This is sick,
Much
man.
appreciated.
This is really good.
Yeah.
This hypes me up. I'm about to go skate tomorrow with Javi
Yeah.
and Billy.
Yeah.
We'll give you a couple of
Well,
these.
yeah.
Joey, we're bringing you out.
Take these one of each for you, man.
Yeah, one of each for sure.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Did
This is
we
going
need
on the
to-
wall.
That's fine.
This ain't going on no grip tape, Papa. This is gonna stay on the wall right in my house.
Up there. That's fine.
Yeah.
You got a lot of boards, bro.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of City
we-
Star Sports.
We decked the
So
wall
Des
out.
got all of those from Kareem.
Yep.
Dude, I remember when this that
This
was
one, yeah.
yeah, that was when we were like
It's a long time ago.
that was a while back. That's when I first met you, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2010 or 20?
10.
Around there,
Yeah,
right?
it was
That's
2010.
when when he got out, like
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you met Marco? How was he back then?
Same, dog. It hasn't changed a bit, bro. Same. You look the same, bro.
yeah?
You run ice.
For real?
So,
You look
Yeah.
the same. You haven't changed. I'm pretty sure you skate
Thank
the
you.
same too. You play rips. This dude kills it, bro.
I watched
He's
his-
a ripper,
Marco,
bro.
I watched your old videos.
Yeah.
Then, when
Thank
I
you.
had the full head of hair.
Undercover.
I was tripping out.
When he had the full head of hair. What you got now? a little. You got the Tony Hawk. Do it like this now. You want to go to Lockwood, Marco?
I had to watch it again. Like, is that Marco?
Let me see the Tony Hawk and stick it
Marco
out.
had like colored hair, bro.
He threw it back.
I was like, dang, man, I yelled at this guy. No, I'm like,
This is badass.
So yeah, this was crazy. We pulled this off in a couple of days.
straight up busted a mission.
Again, shout out
Like, it was
Mark
like
McKee.
Friday.
for-
Oh,
yeah,
boom,
Mark
Tuesday,
McKee, the
yeah.
man, bro. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank
Shout
you.
out
Thank you.
Mark McKee.
Yeah, all those guys to make it happen.
Now you're in acting. You talked about that a bit, right? Which is cool because that's a new avenue. Like, obviously, you still skate, and like P-Rod, he's done some acting too. A lot of
Jason
skaters,
Lee.
right?
Yeah.
Jason Lee.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Jason Lee, man. And even for up and coming
Steve Barra.
skaters, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just to have that opportunity, right? Whether it's the
Beardick.
modeling. He knows them all. Yeah, but that's cool. Like, it's giving another avenue, another way, right, to
Yeah.
get it, right? Because it's a come up. It's
No,
the
it's
hustle.
dope.
It's the grind.
I think it's like it's more. I would say like a lot nerve wracking when you have to do a trick on a skateboard with a couple cameras than doing it with a few cameras on TV, acting and getting the words and the motion and the once you know the work a little bit. It's not as nerve like I'm telling you right now. You
Skating
know,
is harder.
do I know what I use? You know what I do?
Chat GPT.
Besides that, no, I use FYI, Fiona.
Ooh.
Ooh, shit. That's what I'm saying. Tranny pots. Look. You know what I'm telling you? Hey, look. I use this. Like I say, if big actor, big experience, big name. You could never do what I did in a skateboard, or you could never go to prison and did the shit that I done. And I'm not gonna get technical, but I use that to make me feel comfortable with these guys that intimidate me with their credits. I got respect still, but I want to get to be comfortable on that level and to give you the same kind of to sit here and be like talking to like Denzel and
Right.
Ethan Hawke.
Peers.
You know what I'm saying?
Your peers.
Yeah.
Instead of someone
Not
that's
to say you're like kind of Denzel.
Denzel.
He's Ethan Hawke. but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like what you gotta use that in your mind. You'd use the like something. I gotta use that because that's probably they can never go back and skate. Like
no,
they're
I mean-
too old, homie.
But-
You can't ever go back and skateboard and do those flips I did.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
No, but I mean,
But you can never go back and go to prison and did the things I've done. You know what I'm saying? Never. So let's keep it real. That's what I gotta do, and I gotta say that. And I use that on, but that's ghetto for me to use. But those are some of the things that I like to personally use. Because in acting classes show you different things. Make it personal.
Yeah.
This is my personal.
And who's to say that you cannot find
Fucking brutal.
You found a parallel between
Level 4.
You found a parallel between your upbringing, or even if they call it, I don't know, streets, whatever it is, and being utilized in an actual corporate or whatever professional setting. 50 Cent talks about it all the time. He's
Yeah.
like, I use everything I learned on that block to navigate corporate world.
I think
and
I've
have
seen that
success.
before. Yeah, I think I've seen him say that before.
Yeah.
And he used everything he learned about dope dealing and being on the
Right.
streets, and he applied it to his life in the corporate world.
And then the confidence from exactly they,
And
all
yeah.
the things you've done that they haven't done.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, trade places, and I don't think you'll last.
And also a hustle, bro. You know, like I've been blessed, man. I have like, you know, I've been blessed to work in certain things around certain people, and my date for me to be home out of prison is 2026, July 26. And I came home out of a 9-year bid. I did 5, so I came home a little early, and you know, I think that this is all borrowed time. Like I'm out here before my real time in prison, and it's for a reason. It's for a purpose, man. You know, and it's been good. You know, even on my bad days when we were on strike and everything, it was still good days for me. You know, there were bad days or bad days. Like, man, I've seen some bad days, and they're not out here.
Right.
Bad days are locked up inside
Right.
there. You know what I mean? Those are real bad days for me. So when people say they have bad days, I'm like, psst. You know what I'm saying? I give them the psst, whatever.
Does it
And
make
walk
you?
away.
Does it make
I'll
you?
say that.
Does it make you appreciate skating more? You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that you weren't able to do it every day or whenever you felt like it. You know, when you were, because you talked about you built the little parks, right? You found a way to stay connected to it.
I'd use cardboard and stuff, like little folders and things like that. The pencil, little small pencil.
You know that, Marco? He built little like parks.
I put it
Like a
together
tech deck
with-
park.
I put it together. Yeah, and it was not a
When
tech
he's-
deck. It
when
was
he's
just
locked
a
up.
fake pencil. Like, but it was my. I made ramps, but they were like, you know, as good as you could possibly get inside prison, and just have little quarter pipes and a fake rail, like a little, and then use the blocks everywhere, sharp blocks you can use for ledge. Your imagination goes crazy in there, and I'm so glad that I learned Meisner acting, because it's all about imagination. Because as a kid, I was always lie.
What's it called?
Meisner. It's a Meisner technique. Sanford Meisner.
Meisner.
It's not the only technique I know, but it's like one of the ones on my backbone, and it's like imagination. You know, you know, it's acting as like behaving truthfully under imaginary circumstances. Acting and behaving truthfully under imaginary circumstances. You could just imagine like anything, because some people haven't experienced a lot of things. Like in my acting class, nobody's been to prison, nobody been to jail, so they would have to imagine.
Nobody switched frontside flip the table.
Yeah, and right, and that, and but I've also never been in a house where like, you know, like theirs, like they had a pool in the backyard, and they flew with their family to France and been there since they were kids, you know, traveled and saw the world before they were like 15 years old. You know, I didn't. Yeah, as far as I went, it was downtown and then back, or like Hollywood and back. You know, I never left. So people had different experiences. You know, I don't know what it is to like, you know, skydive or something like that. You know, I don't know what the feeling of, or like camping out in the woods like for 2 weeks. Never done that. Afraid of that. I like the city.
Yeah.
Need a hotel, toilet, shower,
Homegrown.
yeah, toilet paper.
Another question: the graphics.
Yeah, you know I gotta ask that. We
Gotta-
love to ask these.
Because
So,
we do graphics.
are there
We're
graphics?
about collecting,
Yeah, collecting
making
world.
skateboards.
Are there
Alright.
graphics that you remember just growing up?
90s
Whether you
graphics?
loved it, whether it pissed you off, whether it annoyed the crap out of you, whether it was the graphic that you got on a board, or you know you went to get your first board or second board, just things that caught your mind and like kind of have a nostalgia.
So the first board that I stole in Glendale was a Steve Lucero. Oh, it was a smidge stick, a cycle stick. I mean, cycle stick, and then
Vision.
Vision cycle
Vision.
stick, and then my
Yeah.
second board was a Lucero. So I knew that I was in the right path.
What Lucero? What did it look
The
like?
one with the jail hands.
Oh, the
The
bars.
bars, the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Gons board was the Smith stick. The cycle stick.
Cycle stick.
Board was the only cycle stick. Like you know,
Is
I
there-
learned kickflips on that board.
Damn.
Holding on to a wall that we used to sit on. I learned kickflips just holding on. First learned how to ollie, and then I did it like stationary. And dude, I was doing it with regular clothes on, corduroys,
Wow.
like the regular Converse and a La Tigre shirt back in the day. You know, all stupid. Like I'm over here skating, like because all skaters was, but back then was, dude. You know what I mean? And we didn't. We didn't have the gear or the Jimmy Z's or Stu C's to prove it. Like I had to go and go to places and like get hand-me-downs.
Yeah, no, like airwalk shoes.
Yeah, and you had Vision
Streetwear.
Streetwear with the ollie flap, with your flap, and you had a hair flap. You had the hair flapping and then the ollie flap. Like, dude, you were flapping every like dog.
You skated in like Dickies, skating Dickies, and
Well, yeah, bro, like. Dude, like
he was like the first.
that's how
He was
you learn
the
how to
first.
skate.
dog.
Yeah,
Look,
first.
I grew up wearing Dickies already, so we need shorts. Cut them into shorts, fool. And now you got the pants and the shorts, Dickies, but they just became shorts for the summer. You know, and then like when we needed shoes, I'm not even lying to you, we were that broke that when I say broke, bro, when we needed shoes, no disrespect, homie, because you're Asian. But we used to go to Chinatown right there in Broadway from Echo Park.
Yeah.
You know? And we used to go there and you know you guys leave your shoes outside, homie? Man, don't do that around broke
Opportunity.
kids. That's like I took off my dusty ones and leave them there and then
He swapped them out.
Dog, I swap them out and like, dude, we had to do frogman.
Those are your skate shoes?
Yeah, bro.
So he didn't do him that dirty. He's like,
Look,
you know what?
I would swap
Trade.
mine, you know, I would
Trade.
leave mine, but they were all busted, homie. You don't want mine. And they stank. So, but we used to frogman because they'd be like, we could hear them cooking and smell the food, and we'd just be like, damn, fool, they have shoes outside. Let's get them. So every so often we'd go and like, before you know it, that was like they were all bringing them in. Eh? They didn't want to leave them out.
But you had to hope that they were in your size.
Well, because no, my toes are always like this.
He's like,
My toes are always like that, bro. So I was always throwing like little ollies. They were like crunchy.
Hard to
Like,
kick flip.
yeah, I was like, oh, when I took them off, I was like, fuck. But then I had to skate with them like ASIC Tigers and tracks. Everything Velcro, bro. What's up with that? Everything Velcro. I don't know why. Dude, all the shoes are Velcro. And they're like, what's up with that,
I
dog?
remember that. That's
Remember the
like-
Velcro? Like ASIC, like, I'm like, dude, what is it? And then there was these weird shoes, like,
is back now in skateboarding. A6 brand.
Yeah.
For skating?
Kicking shit with ASICs.
So you never wanted to skate vert, or have you?
I mean, dude, growing up skating, like, you can't just skate street, bro. Like, back then, you had to skate pool. I started off skating pools.
Word.
And, like, skating pools and like, wall rides and ramp to wall. So I know that vert was, like, I smacked my head on Christian Osoy's ramp in Echo Park, bro.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, smack, 11-footer. And then I did it the second time when I woke up.
Oh,
But I did it, fool.
hell yeah.
Do it again.
Shout out to Echo Park, by the way.
Shout out.
How can we, I don't know, that support, find you? What is it?
How do you find me?
How do we find you?
Instagram.
On the corner right there. No, I'm joking. On Instagram, at Fabian Alomar Official. You know, I don't use no other platforms. Really, Facebook and stuff, you know. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of stuff at Echo Park. I work with the Centro de Pueblo.
Okay.
You know, I do a lot of stuff there. I got a skate program there with a friend of mine. He's taking care of him named Richard Valle. He does a skate program.
Yeah,
And
we know
we're
Richard.
also,
yeah.
you know Richard?
Valle, yeah.
Yeah. Richard Valle is a good homie,
He's
man.
he's a
So,
good homie.
yeah.
Good guy, yeah.
So he isn't doing that whole thing, and it's his like, you know,
His program.
his program. Yeah,
It's like a skate school.
a skate.
right?
Yeah, he teaches kids to skate. Yeah,
Dope.
yeah.
Echo Park, man, it's changed over the
It's
years.
changed, yeah,
My,
no,
my
dude.
wife now, when
A
we were
lot of
first-
Tony Hawks now, bro. They're all there getting coffee right now, bro.
Well, my wife now, but before when we were dating, she's like, hey, let's go to Echo Park, you know? I'm like, what? You know, like, I'm down, but like, okay. And we go to Echo Park, and it's like, oh, we're doing yoga at
hipsters
Echo
now?
Park. Yeah, we're doing yoga.
Yeah, at first you're like, damn, watch out. No, I don't want
At first, I had to get
see
ready.
Mi vida loca.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
I had to
But
get
then it's
mentally
like,
ready.
nah, it's mi vida mocha. It's like,
No,
dude,
it's-
what's up? Mi vida mocha, bro.
That's facts. That's the evolution of it. Yeah. So,
That's just crazy. Man.
yeah.
Go over there and catch Travis and Janet arguing, bro. What are you like talking shit for, man? You guys would never be on this block back in the day. You guys would like, rah.
Hey, you ever bomb Baxter?
A fool? What?
Yeah. Baxter?
Baxter? Nah, hell nah.
Nah.
What?
I always ask people that when they.
Nah, but you know what? So you know where Garvanza's at?
Garand's skate park.
Skate park?
Yeah.
That hill,
Highland Park.
that one hill that's to the right of it, that one steep hill
Yeah.
that looks at it.
Yep.
That's
That
not
comes
even
down to-
Baxter,
That
bro.
comes down to Figueroa.
It goes
That
straight into the park. Like if you
Oh,
look at it,
oh,
like
yeah,
when
yeah,
you're at
yeah,
the
yeah.
park and you're at the
Okay, I know
skate
what
park
you
and you're
mean.
looking
Yeah.
to the right there, that big hill.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, Baxter's crazier than that, and that's something that people won't even. Some people have tried to bomb that hill, and they
they eat it.
Se acabó.
Speaking of se acabó, that's it.
Fabian, man, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
through.
man.
We're gonna
Thank
sign
you,
some
bro.
decks,
Appreciate
y'all.
it,
Thank you,
man.
bro.
Again, I'm
Appreciate
Dez,
it.
Yeah,
aka
of course,
Flipping
bro.
Boards, Marco, Sharko, Jazz Binsek,
What's up?
Fabian Alomar
Uno,
came
dos,
through.
tres.
Wallride
Uno, dos,
X,
tres.
Wallride
Boards.
Experience.
Yeah.
Check 'em out.
Yeah, I'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.